Hey guys, if you thought that ChatGPT was just for content creators and people that wanted to write their own books, think again. Today I'm going to show you some practical applications for ChatGPT to help make your life easier, help you rock being a dad. Seems like everywhere you go nowadays, you hear about artificial intelligence. It seems to be a buzzword these days, and rightfully so. I mean, the more these programs are coming out and showing you how you can kind of navigate certain areas that you might not be that familiar with or that fluent in, it can be a real boon. At the same time, a lot of what I'm seeing has to do with content creation and like writing your own book and all of these kinds of applications. But what about everyday mundane life, the day-to-day struggles that we as dads kind of go through? What How can we utilize technology to educate ourselves and then turn around and potentially educate our kids on to give them some understanding and some experience with these new technologies so that it doesn't become what many people fear it might become. It's not the next Skynet, I hope, but at the same time, it's here, and it behooves all of us to familiarize ourselves with it because what's going to end up happening inevitably is that the technology is only going to get bigger and better, and our kids are going to get exposed to it sooner and sooner. So for us to help them and be that good mentor to them and be that example for them, it's really incumbent upon us to grab a hold of this technology, figure out how we can best utilize it, and then show our kids how they can without abusing it or without being abused by it. So what we're going to do today is show you a couple of things that you can do as a dad to improve your relationships with your kids, improve your relationships with your friends, family, as well as improve that relationship with yourself. And that seems a little weird, but bear with me. With the right prompts and with a little bit of finagling your questions, you can actually use ChatGPT to come up with some really good guidelines for life. Again, it really just depends on how you're using it. So, with that being said, let's just jump right in. The first things first, if you've never played around on ChatGPT, the first thing you want to do is go to openai.chatgpt and get yourself an account. It's absolutely free. Fill in some information really quick on your email address and stuff, and you get an account. There's a free version and a paid version. I'm going to be using the free version today. I haven't upgraded to the pro yet, but time will tell. I may end up doing that. But for our purposes today, all you need is a free account. So once you've done that, and you'll come up to this screen here. Now, everything gets started here in the send a message box, and that's where we're going to start today. So if you've never done this before, the idea of ChatGPT is you can ask it a question, tell it to do something, and then it populates some sort of response. Now, how we're going to utilize this for our purposes today is I'm going to ask it a few questions based on some things that I know that I personally have used it for, have had some pretty good success with, and maybe it will for you. And one of those ways is connecting with children, or my kids rather, with music. So I've loved music my entire life, but I will say this: I'm not proficient in any instrument whatsoever. I just absolutely love music. I want to share that bond of music with my kids so that we can share in that. And my kids are, what, 8, 10, and 17. So different areas, of life that each of them are in, different experiences that they've all had at this point. We have done, I think, a fairly good job of exposing them to music and getting them at least excited about it. Not that it's that hard at those ages, but to really kind of think a little bit deeper. But sometimes you just want to have fun, right? So what ChatGPT can do is help you come up with those activities. So, for example, if I type in, "Hey, Chat GPT," and you do not have to be this formal. Create a, I don't know, music oriented game for, and one of these days I will learn how to type, music oriented game for kids between what? Let's do my kids. So we'll say 6 and 12 years old. Any other parameters that do not require musical instrument knowledge? Because not everybody knows how to play an instrument, right? So, but if we want to do something that's gamified with music, helping the system understand that that's what you're going for by adding things like that in there, those little tidbits, helps it narrow it down so you're not constantly having to reprompt, reprompt, reprompt. So let's see what it gives us. So Melody Madness. So the game concept. Melody Madness is a fun interactive game that challenges kids to create melodies by arranging musical patterns and beats. What? That's crazy. The game features colorful characters and exciting gameplay, keep kids engaged and entertained. And it gives you the challenge levels, the elements, how you're supposed to play it, bonus features, like the benefits of it. This is, again, this doesn't have to be the be all end all of how you gamify music with ChatGPT, but I'm just showing you the level to which ChatGPT is helping you organize a game for you and your kids that does involve music. And how you ask it in the prompts what you're wanting it to do and how you're wanting to direct the game itself is going to help it give you the kind of response that you're looking for. That's more in line with what you had in mind. So the more specific you can be, the better off your answer is going to be. So that's just one way. Now, another aspect that you can use ChatGPT to make your life a little bit easier in a more practical way and less around the relationship that you have with your kids and music, but maybe your relationship with your finances. Write a budget. You know what? Let's go do this. Household budget for a, wow, like I said, one of these days, for a family of five on 70,000 a year. I am just making up numbers. That includes a college fund for, you know what? I'll say my kids, an 8-year old and 17-year old. I know it's a little late on the 17-year old, but you know what? Some of us are in that situation. Let's just see what it says. Write a household. Okay, let's stop generating right there and let's re-edit. Budget. Try that again. Round two. So then it goes through the different aspects of creating a budget. So you've got your fixed expenses, you're going to have your variable expenses, and then you're going to have things like your savings and things that you need to do in order to save for or put money aside for that college fund. So it breaks it all down. But again, I was very open ended with how I prompted this thing. So if you go in and you get a little more specific with your prompt. This goes back to what I said a minute ago. It's all about how you enter in your prompts. Once you've got that kind of tuned in, then you'll get the result of a better result for what you're looking for. And so what this does is, again, it's just helping you ideate and helping you conceptualize the things that you're thinking about if you don't have a background in accounting or a background in doing any kind of budgeting. One of the biggest flaws that I see personally in our education systems is that they don't teach these kinds of everyday skills to kids in school. This is not part of the curriculum. Being able to do a budget, being able to manage finances, being able to understand how saving and investing works, and the importance of doing it early. Those things are kind of left at home, and unfortunately, a lot of the mentality that we as parents have is that, well, the school is supposed to be teaching them everything that they need to know once they get out into the world. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. But here is a way to make it easier for you to not only create a budget for yourself, but to help your kids see how easy it is to create a budget. And then you reinforce the importance of doing so with your experience in life, whatever that may be. So another really cool way that you can use ChatGPT to practically affect a better a better future for yourself, doing things like this. But okay, so that's finances and that's ways of kind of gamifying music with your kids. What else can you do? Well, how many New Year's resolutions have you had that have been, I want to get fit? And I don't know what to do. Well, you can get a diet and exercise plan directly from ChatGPT if you want to cut through some of the noise of everything that you see on the internet when it comes to YouTube or your Google searches. And one of the things that always kills me about this particular topic is you go into Google and you type in, diet and exercise plans, and you get a myriad of prompts about, well, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. And you're having to do more research. Well, with something like this, it's just going to give you a plan. And again, depending on your prompts, that will depend, that will determine rather the plan that you get. So, um, for example, I'm a 45-year-old man weighing 178 pounds, 5'11". Um, Suggest a diet and exercise. I always do that. That will help me build muscle, lose fat, and end at a weight of 185 pounds and I don't know what, 12% body fat at the end of 6 months. Again, just making this up. Have no idea if this is realistic at all, but let's just say that it is, and let's see what it gives us. So there you go. It starts with a diet plan. And you know what? That's that seems to always be the beginning place, right? So diet and exercise, specifically if you've got goals in mind, it's 80% diet, 20% workout. So uh, that is going to be the biggest thing. But again, it's telling you what protein intake you need to have, where you can get it, what your carbs need to be, the importance of staying hydrated, and it just lists out all the different things. Now, it may not give you the specific, like for example, here, it's not giving you the specific exercises. At that point, you can take this information, go back into ChatGPT and say, create an exercise plan that includes these exercises, and then it will prompt out for that. So it's another way to be able to uh, kind of help hone in on the specifics for you based on what your prompt is. So as I put in there, I mean those measurements for me were pretty spot on. I weigh 178 pounds, 5'11", 45 years old, all that kind of stuff. So the more specific you can get about what kind of response you're looking for, the better the results are going to be. But you can always take the information that it's giving and then turn around and put it into another prompt if you want. And rather than trying to navigate the inexhaustible amount of information that's in a Google or even the YouTube videos out there around diet and exercise, this might help you kind of narrow down even that search if you're looking for something that fits your criteria in those other programs and be able to match them up a little bit better. Cool. So, last thing I want to show you about this, I want to bring it back to music because honestly, here at Rock Dads, that's what we like to do is really find ways to kind of connect with our kids with music. And what I want to do next is something that I'm glad ChatGPT exists for this reason. It's learning an instrument. So I personally am not fluent in anything, but at the same time, I've always wanted to be. I have every excuse in the world, like most, as to why I haven't done it. But I'm finding that I'm more and more wanting to get involved in it and wanting to embrace the work that goes into learning an instrument. And one of the ways that we can use ChatGPT to do that is to come up with exercises, come up with easy ways of getting involved with learning an instrument. So, um, something that we can do to help us kind of engage in that activity with our kids is ask ChatGPT what we can do. So, um, write a plan that helps a father and his kids. Again, one of these days I'll learn how to type. Learn to play guitar together. Let's just see what it says. So clearly set goals. You know, that's kind of a no-brainer. Get the instruments. So because my prompt was so generic, it's giving me a very generic outline. You know, things that may seem kind of obvious. You know, get the instruments, get some sort of coach. But how can we narrow that down? You know, I like this part on start with the basics and fun learning activities. So, what if I took that and made it expound a little bit more on that particular activity? So, I'm going to go ahead while it's doing that and um, what are some basic exercises? Let's go back to beginner heart exercises that can be learned and understood by kids aged 6 to 12. Now, I'm doing it this way because if it's going to be easy to understand for kids 6 to 12, it's probably going to be easily be understood by me. So I like to think that I have the intelligence of a 6 to a 12-year-old. So we're just going to go with that and see what happens. Okay, so learning the strings, getting some finger strength, trying to place their fingers on the fretboard and practice pressing on each string at a time, ensuring a clean sound. Spider exercises. And see, these are the kinds of things like spider exercises, for example. These are the kind of things that you can then turn around and go to YouTube for and say, you know, show me spider exercises or show me videos on spider exercises for 6 to 12-year-olds. Rather than taking these prompts, like my very first prompt, and going into a Google and going into a YouTube and then just getting bombarded with all this different information that you have to then sift through, you can do this and then take the information from here and then go and narrow down that search to help you kind of make it a little bit easier on yourself. One of the biggest things that I have found around using ChatGPT in these ways is that it's a huge time saver. absolutely game changing when it comes to saving time. And that, given the fact that, we as dads have so many responsibilities, is extremely important. To be able to get to what we need quickly is one of the greatest things that I found about utilizing ChatGPT. So there you have it. Rock dads versus ChatGPT. That did not cover anywhere near the things that you can do, all of the different things that you can do with ChatGPT, but at least it's a stepping stone, right? So hopefully you're able to kind of see what you're able to do with ChatGPT in a more practical way, rather than trying to come up with ways of again creating content or writing a book, just everyday life scenarios, and utilizing ChatGPT in a way that's going to help you find ways to connect with your kids at their level and create fun memories with each other at the same time, fixing your finances and getting into better shape, which you've been trying to do for years, right? So again, hopefully that was helpful. If it was, please do me a favor and like the video. Be honored if you would subscribe to it. If music and fatherhood are your thing, please by all means check out the Rock Dad Facebook group, and we will catch you next time.